Good afternoon, my friends. It's Simon Lown here from 2A Digital, and today we're going to be carrying on talking about technical SEO. And today's subject is, if you saw the headline, it's website security. So it's the certificate that protects your website and basically encrypts all the communications and essentially makes your site HTTPS instead of just plain HTTP, which is unsecure. So if you're joining me live, please feel free to say hi. I'll give you a shout out. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to give me a hashtag replay. Let me know you've seen it and if you find it useful. If you've got any questions at the end, please do feel free to ask. More than happy to help out with any questions you might have there. So diving in, what does HTTPS mean? Well, HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. And I'm sure you're probably thinking, yeah, okay, but what does that mean? Well, yeah, it is gobbledygook, and it's not something that you can simply explain. But essentially, when you access a website using HTTPS and you're using what's called a secure socket layer certificate, an SSL certificate, what essentially is happening is that whatever device people are using to access your website, all of the communications over the internet, so it's going out through your Wi-Fi or your broadband, over the internet, through your host to the host of the people that have got the website servers, and then there's lots of places along the way that potentially that information could be seen, compromised, and essentially used for ill-gotten gains, essentially, if it's not secure. And it's the SSL certificate that encrypts the data. So whatever you're sending, whether it's your name, address, email, telephone number, bank details, where you get the little padlock in the address bar that shows that you've got a secure connection, that's what's happening. Is all of your data is being protected. Now, why is this important? Well, when GDPR came into effect in 2018, essentially what they did was put the onus on business owners to make sure that the privacy of their website visitors, of their customers, of people that are potentially a customer, all of their data is private and protected. And so this is something that really forced people to, if they weren't already secure on their website, should have forced them into having an SSL certificate on their website. Now, in terms of SEO, Google actually decided way back in 2014 that it was actually a good idea to promote actually using secure websites, and actually made it a ranking factor. So it is one of the things that Google will look at when ranking a website. Now, it's not to say that you can't rank an unsecure website, but you do get a slight favorable result if your website is secure. Now, also back at that time, there was a Let's Encrypt actually set themselves up and basically said that they wanted to make sure that the whole of the internet was secure and made those certificates free, because prior to Let's Encrypt being about, actually SSL certificates and getting encryption could be quite a pricey thing to do. So really, because of Let's Encrypt and their free certificates and the fact that they've been working heavily with website hosts and providers to actually integrate into the back end of their hosting systems, there's actually very little excuse for not having a secure website these days. And so essentially, if you don't have a secure website and you can't see anywhere on your host platform that you can just click a button and get a free certificate installed, then you can go to the Let's Encrypt website and essentially follow their instructions for how to get a free SSL certificate to secure your website from them. So if you look on, what I'll do is I'll put a link below this video once I'm finished, and that will take you to the blog post. And in the blog post, I'll put in a little diagram of how SSL works, the encryption protocol, and you'll get links to the Let's Encrypt website, etc. Now, if you're thinking, oh, I don't need encryption because I don't collect data on my website, well, actually, part of the GDPR rules and having HTTPS and everything else is also sort of linked in with other elements of GDPR, and it affects your site. So if you're not currently secure and you've not had either a web professional or some advice from somebody that knows about websites and building them advise you about your site, you probably need to get it looked at, because there may be other things that you're not compliant with. I mean, that is another story, and we will get to that eventually. But another thing as well is, if you're not collecting data from your website, then essentially you've got a digital business card and you've not got a lead producing website, which, let's face it, these days everybody wants more leads, and actually using your website to get them is actually a really smart way of doing it. So potentially you should be collecting data from your website, and obviously because of that it needs to be secure. So when you've got your SSL certificate set up now, either using the Let's Encrypt tool, using your website host team to get help, if you install the SSL certificate manually, going Googling how to set up SSL on my host, my platform, whoever you're with, talking to your webmaster, or if you just want to post in the Facebook group and get help, you're actually one step closer to being fully compliant with UK law regarding privacy, and obviously that's quite important for businesses. It also engenders trust from people that are viewing your website, and ultimately, if you do add any services to your website that require some form of payment, then that obviously makes that process a lot more simple as well. Now, hopefully you've watched this and you're thinking, yeah, I'm good, I've got nothing to do, nothing to check. That's great. But the other thing to finally check is, if you do have a certificate installed on your website, do you have a redirect set up for if people land on your non-secure pages? So easy way to test that is just to write out your full web address. So http:// your website. If when you press return, it doesn't automatically forward you to the page where you've got the little padlock, if it comes up and says site's not secure in the top left hand corner, it means you don't have a forward set up. So that is something that you also need to check and make sure is working, because even though you've got a certificate, people can still browse your website in an unsecured way if you don't have that forward in place. And setting up a 301 forward is actually quite simple to do. It does depend on the platform. Just go and do a quick search on your host's help files to see how to set that up. But essentially, once you've run that test, if that comes back fine, and typing in HTTPS is something that forwards you automatically, then you're clear, you're fairly compliant, assuming you've got your cookies and other compliance things as well in your privacy policy, etc. But we will come into those in later lessons. So I hope you find this helpful. I hope you are running a secure website, and that when you're collecting people's data, it is nice and safe. But if not, you now know that you can go and get that sorted out completely for free using the Let's Encrypt service, and there's no excuse for not having it, because essentially it is a part of UK law now for essentially running a business. Ensuring privacy of your visitors and customers is your responsibility, and so therefore you now know how to go and fix that. Like I say, if there are any questions, drop them in the comments below. Come and join us in the Facebook group, and happy to answer your questions there. And that will be it for today's lesson, I think. So let me know what you think. Like I say, if you've got any questions, ask below, and I will see you again on the next video. So until then, have a good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and goodbye for now.